Good morning, everybody. How you doing today? My name's Andrew. I'm Pop-Pop.
I'm Kelly.
And we're some of the Veggie boys.
And girls.
And we'd like to thank you for stopping by. If you're new here, please consider subscribing because we can grow a lot of beautiful things here on the farm, but one thing we can't grow is this channel without your help. Welcome back, everyone. It's so nice to have you. Currently, we're just finishing off morning chores. Chickens are all fed, eggs are all collected, calves are taken care of, and now the rest of the cattle have been fed. We also took the time to water some of our cabbage, broccoli, and cauliflower. As you can see, that stuff looked pretty dried out, but that's okay. That's expected when it's as hot as it has been lately, and today it's gonna be another scorcher. But on that note, animals have all been taken care of, and it's on to the next job. Our next job is gonna involve harvesting some vegetables, and that's kind of why I'm in the cooler. One reason I'm in here is because it's really nice and cool. But the other reason is to show you what we got picked yesterday. We were able to get some cabbage harvested. We had some green zucchini, and yellow squash. And the last thing, which I can't even show you because we sold it all, is pickling cucumbers. We picked over 16 half bushel of pickling cucumbers, and yeah, they're gone already. I almost forgot the broccoli. We can't forget the broccoli, especially when it looks this nice. So you can imagine we were pretty busy yesterday, and today's probably gonna be the same way. I'm ready to go. I'm tired of waiting. Home sweet home. Our first order of business today is gonna be harvesting cucumbers. Before I do that, I need to show you some crazy growth that we've seen. Not just with our cucumbers, pickling cucumbers and zucchini, but if we move down the field a little bit, look at these cantaloupes. Wow. They have like completely taken over the row, and right next to these cantaloupes we have some watermelons. And if we come over here and check it out, we got little baby watermelons on the way. And if we move even further down this field, we have our tomatoes. And something of note, our tomatoes do need to add a little bit more size, but we've got blossoms and little tomatoes on the way. Oh boy, look at that watermelon. Oh, soon enough, you'll be in my tummy. And that brief moment where I just showed you a few of those crops, it's really easy to see how fast things are growing. But hey, I guess that's what we want. It is technically growing season. Not only is it growing season, but it's harvest season. Let's get picking. Oh yeah. We do seem to be finding a good amount of cucumbers, which is really nice. I remember last time we picked, there was quite a bit here as well. So as long as these continue to grow, the plants stay healthy, we're gonna have cucumbers for a very long time, which is something everybody likes to hear. It may be a lot of work to harvest all these different vegetables, but it does pay off having a variety of different fruits and vegetables in your farm market. If we have a variety of different fruits and vegetables at the farm market, it's more likely that we're gonna get different people in there. And since we have such a variety, while they're in there, they may see the thing that they need, and then they say to themselves, oh, look at those cucumbers. Those cucumbers are good. Let me pick up 10 baskets. Okay, maybe they don't pick up 10 baskets, but maybe they pick up a few. And that's kind of what we want. We want to try and get a lot of different people selecting a lot of different variety from the local area into our farm market. And that's why it's so important to us as vegetable farmers to make sure that our crops always look really nice, whether it's cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, whatever the case. Because if someone comes to the farm market, they see some nice fruits and veggies, they're gonna tell their friends about it, and then hopefully that'll give us some more business. Our family has been doing this for a very long time, and let me just say, word of mouth, it is powerful. So if you can get people enjoying your fruits and vegetables and inside selecting some nice stuff, well, then you're gonna get some return customers and some new ones. I just wanted to give you kind of an idea of what I think about while I'm picking. That's why it's so important to make sure that you have like a clean, thorough harvest, because anything that we miss, next time it's gonna be completely huge and we might not be able to sell it. So that's why it can be pretty difficult physically to do this job, and it wears on your mind sometimes too, because you're thinking about everything. You're thinking about the veggies, you're thinking about the next thing you need to pick, you're thinking about your customers. But that's okay, because when you get a beautiful handful of cucumbers like this, oh, that's the only thing I'm concerned about. Look at that, beautiful basket. Now that we got a few baskets of cucumbers pulled out, I'm gonna run, grab the side-by-side, pick up a few of these baskets, and then we're gonna finish off this row. And just like that, we've got all our cucumbers harvested. The next thing we're gonna do is get them loaded up, taken back to the farm, clean them off, and then move them into the cooler. We are all loaded up now. We have roughly 12 full baskets of cucumbers on the side-by-side. Sounds like a great harvest to me. I know we'll be able to sell them, that's for sure. Something I will mention, there was tons of pollinators out today. Countless honeybees flying around. There's some other insects. That's nice to see. I've mentioned this a few times, but probably about 300 or 400 yards away from these fields, one of our neighbors has hives. I don't know how many hives they have altogether, but I know there's 2 or 3 that are very close. So we're just working right alongside with the bees today. They got a lot of work to do and we got a lot of work to do. The cucumbers didn't seem to be too dirty, but we still like to give them a little bath once we get home.
And also, it's not just cleaning them, but the cold water from the well is usually 58 degrees, 56 degrees. That helps in keeping them store a little bit better. The quicker you can get them chilled. So running them in cold water helps chill them, and then they'll store better too.
After we got finished at the farm market, Dad and I were talking about what we wanted to do next, and we decided that we were gonna go turn the irrigation pump on. Since it's been on the hot side and it's been very dry, irrigation is something we've been thinking about quite a bit lately. So we just wanted to get these plants taken care of. We're watering everything that is planted on the plastic or the biomulch. Everything is being watered by means of drip irrigation. Dad told me to drop him off. He's gonna get started picking peas, and I'm gonna run back and grab some fuel for the pump. We're gonna get that pump all filled up, and then I'm gonna go help Dad. Just documenting that the gate is closed. That way, if any horses get out later, it's not my fault because I closed the gate. You saw me do it. I want to talk about irrigation for just a few minutes because there's some interesting things that you may not know that we're doing here on the farm. For one, we have a few different water sources that we can pull from. We have 2 natural spring-fed ponds, and then we also have a large creek that runs through our property. Depending on the type of year we are having and where the crops are located, sometimes we can pull from either or. This year, we've just been pulling strictly from the ponds. Now, due to the ponds being naturally spring-fed, Sometimes we do have to wait a little bit for them to fill back up, but it's usually not an issue, and it hasn't been an issue this year. We do have the large creek that we could pull from, and we have done that in the past. It's worked out really, really well. Either or does a great job at watering the crops. We do like using the pond because of the natural fertilizers due to all of the fish poop that's in there and some other things that come from the pond. You don't really get that same thing with the creek. Do we notice a difference in the crops? I don't know, but I like to think that when we pull from the ponds, it's nicer for the crops. We are watering everything at the same time. That pump down there, it is running at an idle, and the reason for that is we don't want to blow out any of our lines. We have done it in the past, and we may have done it this year, so we had to dial back the pressure. I always feel like it's important to mention when we are irrigating so people can appreciate that they have to water their own stuff that they're growing at home. We would prefer for it to rain. I mean, that would be cheaper for us. It makes work a lot easier. But sometimes it doesn't rain. So irrigating is what we do. Something to keep in mind, all the different crops that we're irrigating. So we have all these right here. We have that field. We have another field over there. It all comes out to about 450 gallons a minute is what we're pumping, which that's a lot of water. But it does take a lot of water to irrigate all these crops. Now, it could be much worse. If we were not doing drip irrigation, we'd be going through so much more water. That's one of the biggest reasons why we like drip irrigation. It can be very, very efficient. So yeah, I felt like it was important to mention that, but now I need to hop in here with Dad. He's working on harvesting peas. He already did pick a few sugar snap peas off the new planting, but he was noting that they seem to be a little on the younger side, so he doesn't want to pick them too heavily today. So before we go home, we are going to be grabbing some snow peas, and I don't think we're going to find too many of them, but we'll see what we can get. There's a zucchini in here. These are a little on the young side too. Probably won't pick too many. We were able to get a few sugar snap peas, as you can see. Dad is walking the rest of the field to grab the last snow peas. There doesn't seem to be too many there. It is kind of thin. I don't know what the trouble was. Probably when we were seeding. Something with being on that edge row, it just didn't come up. I will say for us, this has probably been the worst year for peas that I've seen since I was a little kid. I mean, it's been pretty bad. But you know what? Sometimes things don't work out the way you want them to, especially when it comes to farming. Would we have liked to pick baskets and baskets and baskets of peas? Yeah, we definitely would have liked that. Did I just say that? We would have liked that? I mean, yeah, in theory, we would have liked it. I mean, it would have been a lot of hard work, and I would have done my fair share of complaining. But a little hard work and some complaining is way better than not having anything to harvest. The shell peas were basically non-existent. We're hoping we get something out of the second planting, but our first and second planting of snow peas, they don't look good. We got nothing off our first planting of shell peas. The only thing that's been kind of good has been the sugar snap peas. We've been able to harvest a lot of them, but it hasn't been up to the standards that we've wanted. Now, because the plants have actually come up, I'm not going to use the word crop failure, but the plants definitely have not lived up to the hype, that's for sure. Hey, Dad, a lot of the people are curious, have you ever had a year where just nothing grew right?
Yeah, there was a year in the 80s where we was really dry, but with the newer genetics and stuff in crops, things do better with less water. We plant so often throughout the year, so usually we get a crop of something.
Yeah, it's usually not too bad. I mean, everything else has been growing really, really nice. It's just these peas, and they've been struggling a little bit. But hopefully with the second planting, we are seeing some life. And these shell peas look pretty good. But I don't know if it's going to be like that throughout the entirety of the field. Hopefully this week we have coming up of intense heat is not going to cause a problem, because that seemed to happen with our first planting. So hopefully our second planting will be good. Now these peas do look good, but the most important thing, how do they taste? Oh yeah. That's delightful. Oh yeah. You know who likes peas? Callie. We'll be hanging out the house and she'll say, Dada, take me out to get peas. Take me out to get peas. I'm like, all right, let's go. Lunchtime is here and it looks like we've got a good spread. BLTs is what's on the menu for today. Once we got finished off with lunch, Callie and I loaded a few bales of straw onto the back of the side-by-side, and now we're gonna be adding some straw into these pens. This pen actually looks really, really good, but the straw will give the chickens something to do, and we're gonna add a little bit of straw to the nest. Something of note is I brought in a watermelon this morning, and these girls have picked this thing completely clean, which is actually pretty interesting because when I first brought it here, these girls did not want anything to do with that watermelon. It was pretty scary. Well, that is now all taken care of. It takes a little bit longer when you got Callie with you. She definitely likes to help out, but that makes me happy that she wants to help out, so no problem. We were able to get both pens full of straw, and we also added straw into all the nests. That was something we've been trying to do for the past couple days, and we've just been so busy, so finally we were able to get it accomplished. I went for a little ride to the top of the hill to check out the alfalfa that Joel had mown down the other day. It looks to be really, really dry. So we should just about be ready to bale. All that Joel has to do is come through and rake it into rows, which he is working on right now. The only thing is we mown down all of our hay. That's a lot of acreage. We're not expecting to get too many bales, but it was coming time to mow it down again so that we could get some new growth started. So, I mean, in due time, we'll be able to get another cutting out of it. But for now, this is what we got. And this doesn't even look too bad. This looks pretty good. And I mean, come on. I take any chance I can to get up here. Just look at this view. Gorgeous. Well, everyone, we ended up just working there in the farm market, graded some eggs. Matthew got home from the auction. He got these peaches that were giant. I'm gonna have to show them to you another time. They're huge peaches. But once we got finished off with work, we made our way home. Lauren made burrito bowls for dinner. So, wow. What a deal. What an amazing woman. But we're getting all the kids bathed up. We got somewhere to be tonight, so I'm kind of in a rush. And that means this is where we're gonna end the video. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye!